What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the madness. Today I'm doing something a little bit different than what I usually do, and I'm going to be talking about my 9 favorite features. Maybe you know about them, maybe you don't, but it's what I use the most. And that's kind of how I've deemed these worthy to be on my list. I've been using this device for about a year and a half now, learned quite a bit about this thing. So let's just jump in and let you know what I like about it. Number 1, numero uno, is its input, output, and recording capabilities. Just its ability to do DI and go straight into your recording software and just get some great quality recordings without really being much more than plug and play. This is what I'm talking about. All right, so I grabbed my guitar. I'm going to opened up my DAW, blank ass project, add a track. Here it is. Make sure it's at the beginning. Hit record. And that is number 1, the DI and recording capabilities. Number 2, and that's going to be every pedal that I've ever thought about buying is either replicable or already available on the Axe FX3. And I'll show you what I mean by that right now. So we've got the Axe Edit right here, and this is what I'm talking about. If you right click, all of these things right here are either just some sort of adjustment module or an effects module. Wah, volume pan, vocoder, tremolo, synth, rotary, reverb, digital delay, phasers, pitch, pretty much anything you could think of, right? Tinker with it as much as you want. It's fantastic, guys. It's unbelievable, and I could see where there's a negative part in that you get choice paralysis from this stuff. And that is number 2, is that there are infinite number of effects combinations, and all of the pedals that you thought about buying are available to you at the click of a button in any arrangement that you want without having to unplug the cords. Time saver, in my opinion. You can just have fun with it. Just go with what you know. All right, so number 3, and that's going to be Footswitch customizability. Now, I've got the FC12, and so it's got 12 different switches, and you can customize them to do exactly what you want. Whether or not that switch between scenes, switch between presets, assign specific switches to be specific effects. You can really kind of change this thing up to however you want. If you want one to be specifically for a tuner, one to be a looper, it's really up to your own personal preference, and I dig that a lot. So rolling in at number 4 is going to be form factor. Now, if you've had multiple amps or multiple pedals, many pedals and a single pedal board, and all the cabling that's associated with it, with the power supply and all that, you know how much room it can take up. If you've got 2 amps, 2 decent sized amps, right? That's about at least 100 pounds, and then also all the cabling and wiring to go along with that. The Axe FX3 is about 20 by 5.5 inches roughly. If you're looking at the face of it, it's about 12 inches deep. I think that's overestimating. This thing, all of the gear stacked up on top of each other is probably it's like 20 by 8 by 12. It's significantly smaller, and that makes a big difference when it comes to traveling it and packing it up. So that's what's number 4, form factor. All right, coming in at number 5, and this isn't in any order. This is just a list. These are all my favorite things. And that's going to be the ability to test out any amp and any cabinet combination ever probably thought of in your mind. You've got Fender, you've got Bogner, you've got Champs, you've got Bassmans, you've got all the amps that you could possibly ever think of. And you've got the cabinets associated on different sizes with multiple speakers, and you can do it in parallel, in series, however you want. And that's option paralysis sometimes. But it's there, and it's an option, and it's fantastic. And that is what is going on at number 5. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. So here's an amp, and you've got types, and all of these are different amps. You've got 297 of them, right? And then you've got cabinets, and you can have up to 4 cabinets on one cab module, right? And you've got how many? God. You've got all the way up to the end of it. You can say there's about 1,000 cabinets, roughly. So 1,000 cabinets and about 300 amps, you know, and you can have them in any order. You can have multiples. You could have them in parallel, in series. You know, I'll show you real quick. You could just slap another amp. You can have up to two amps, and then you can slap that thing anywhere you want. You know, if you wanted it, this is what it'd look like in parallel. And then if you wanted, you could just say, oh, I want another cab up here. And you could say, I want this one to go up here. Oh, we got planes going on in the background, don't mind that. But you can do this in any way you want. You could slap this over here. So, just to give you an idea. That introduces quite a bit of noise if I don't tinker with it beforehand. But that's what's going on with the amp and cab combinations. It's pretty limitless if you think about it. Coming in at number 6, and that is going to be that the Axe-Fx is usable with more than just guitar. And I am demonstrating that right now because all of the voice and that you're hearing in this video is actually being processed by the Axe-Fx. And I'll show you that right now. So right here is in number 2, and that is where my microphone is coming in. Right here I've got a filter in place right now. I could add effects here if I wanted to, some drive, delay, whatever the effect floats the boat. I'll show you. If I just say something, there's some, delay. I'll slap the filter back in place because I think it makes my voice sound good. But that's what I like also. Number 6 is that it can process whatever you want as long as it has a cord that can be plugged in. Number 6 kind of leads me right to number 7, which is that you can have multiple inputs and multiple outputs, and you can do it simultaneously. So per se, I've got my guitar plugged in right now. I've got my voice, my microphone plugged in right now to the Axe-Fx. I can have MIDI plugged in. I can have another vocal plugged in, and I can have them going to different outputs. And all the outputs can have different levels. Now that's a fantastic perk to being able to do this stuff because you could be monitoring things from different places and have different levels associated with each of them. So that's what comes in at number 7, and that is controllability of multiple inputs and outputs. Strolling in casually at number 8, and that is going to be the community involved with the Axe-Fx 3. There's quite a big community of folks that are working on, homemade effects, presets that people aren't used to hearing, new presets that are kind of just breaking through, and just troubleshooting and tips and techniques that you can kind of get away with asking from different people. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. So right here is the Fractal kind of forum, and you've got news, tech notes, discussions, recordings, this and that, all the different kind of products that Fractal Audio makes, and basically a way to communicate with other people that might have issues if you're troubleshooting something or trying to do something that not many people may have thought about doing. Or if you're looking for different effects ideas, you can go to the preset exchange where there's people posting different kind of effects and presets that they've made, and you can get some inspiration for your own ideas. You've got, James and Steven, our favorite amp models. You've got dual tune delay funds, Rush Vital Signs, White Snake, just a bunch of different ideas and bunch of different places and people that you can get a hold of to kind of express your creativity. So that's number 8, the community. And last but certainly not least, coming in at number 9 is documentation and frequent updates of firmware. So they've got great software for upgrading your firmware on the Axe-Fx 3 itself. I'll show you what that looks like just in a second. Actually, I'll show it to you right now because it all comes in at the same thing. Updates, documentation, and ease of use, right? So you've got this tool called the Fractal Bot, and this will tell you what firmware you're running. Right now it's 19.05, and it automatically updates your system and then tells you what to do along the way. Makes things super easy and super lightweight as far as just trying to maintain your device, okay? Other thing is firmware release notes. These releases are coming out like almost every other week, if not more. We've had multiple releases just the past month. And so right now we're on 19.05. Earlier on this year we were at 19, And if you take a notice, the patches usually go up to 19.05 as being the last one before they do a major number change, right? 19, 18.03 down to 18, 17.02 down to 17, 16.05 down to 16. So you can almost assume that the next patch that comes out is going to be a whole number patch, which means it's probably going to be jumping up to 20, which is, I imagine, a pretty big update. Also, the documentation that they give you just when you buy the device, should come out, with a pretty good documentation, right? But these guys go pretty above and beyond with how great their stuff is. So I'll show you what that looks like. I've read through this whole thing, but this is their blocks guide. If you ever think about what you want to do, if you want to go tinker with different mods, what each of those little blocks in the axe edit does, each one of these things has documentation on every single one of them with pictures and high quality text, and they keep it up to date pretty well. Some of the things are a little bit behind, but not too much, not so much that you can't understand what's going on. And that's number 9, is that you get frequent updates of firmware and documentation that does not limit your ability to learn more about the device. Alright guys, that is it. That is my top 9 favorite things about the Axe FX 3. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. I know I did go a little bit of demonstrations and some kind of educational stuff, but that's okay. If you guys were on the fence about getting it, I hope I convinced you that maybe it's a good idea to go and snag one, but I hope it's not too cringe. I'm not fanboying too much, but I really do like this thing a lot. There's a lot of good things to say about it. So that's about it, guys. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Till next time, I'll catch y'all on the flippy floppy.